Mars.
Show dog.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been so long since I made a new video, and it was the last one that I did was the 3D ultrasound, and I was gonna vlog my baby shower, but you know, that day was busy all day, so I didn't do that one. And I will do a labor and delivery vlog once he is actually here. So yeah, today I'm going to do a story time, and it's going to be how I found out I was pregnant at 16. And yes, I am 17, currently pregnant, and I found out I was pregnant at 16. So I'm going to do the story time, and I'm going to try to make it short. I don't know, all my videos happen to be kind of long, but you guys seem to enjoy them, and this one was kind of a highly requested video because I don't really talk about how I found out, because it was just kind of like a bad day for me, and you know, like 16. So yeah, I'm just going to get right into the video and about how it all started, and yeah, just how I met my son's father, and to 2017. And yes, I still remember this day like it was yesterday, and it was my junior year. I had to get transferred to that school. I was just doing bad at my other school, and first day comes by, and I always ride the bus. Like, I always rode the bus or whatever, because the school that I went to, it was actually pretty far, so I couldn't get a ride every single day. So I just rode the bus, and I didn't know, but my son's father actually rode the bus too. So I was just nervous that day because, you know, it's a new school, you're gonna start fresh and everything. And I didn't notice him at first. I just went to the people that I knew already. So I just went to like my friends and stuff, and I didn't notice him. So I guess when I got off the bus and stuff, I was just walking around in the morning, and I think it was after first period, is during passing period, and that's where I noticed him. And I was just like, I told my friends, I was like, who is that? And they were like, oh, you don't know him or whatever, that's his name, blah, blah, blah. And he actually went to the school that we went to. And I was like, what? I was like, no, there's no way. Like, I would have noticed him. They were like, no, like, he definitely went. And I was like, oh. So I was kind of shocked that I didn't notice him. But at my other school, there's 4,000 people. And at this other school, there was only like 120 people there at that time. So of course you're going to notice people more. And yeah, I just noticed him like right away, and I was just like, dude, like, he's hot. Like, I wasn't really looking for a relationship at the time either. I didn't really want a relationship. Like, my trust levels are pretty low, and I just didn't want to get played. I didn't want to get into a relationship. I never really had any relationship. I pretty much, like, you know, those talking things that you have in high school, like, oh, I talked to that person before, and I was at like my other school, and that was only with like one other person or like two other people, and he was really my very first boyfriend. So, but before all that, that's just, like, I just wasn't looking for a relationship, and I was just like, oh my god, like, I want to get to know him, and, you know, but I kind of, like, look down on my, like, I kind of think badly about myself, and I'm just like, you know what if I'm, like, not what he's looking for, and he doesn't notice me, and he won't like me, and, like, for who I am, and that's why I just wasn't looking for one. So, like, a couple periods go by, and first period went by, second period went by, and I was like, oh, like, he's not in these classes, he's probably not going to be in any of my classes. And, like, I was just so nervous. Like, he didn't even notice me staring at him at first. Like, all the time I would be staring at him. I would be finding him and just staring at him. And so one period came by, and it was like fourth period, and I was like, okay, he's probably not in this class, because like, oh, maybe he's in my other classes. So that bell rang, and I just sat down, and I was kind of like, oh, whatever. And he just walked through the door late to class, and I was like, oh my god, like, my shoulders went up, my posture was like, oh my gosh. And I just immediately, like, my heart just fell to the floor, and I just didn't know what to do. I kept looking at my friends. I was like, oh my god, he's in this class, like, what do I do? Like, I don't know. They were like, why don't you go talk to him? And I'm like, no. I was like, do you not see the way I am right now? I'm like shitting myself. So, yeah. And I don't think he noticed. I think he noticed that day too, that I was like kind of like just staring at him, and then he would just look at me, and I would just have this big smile, and I was like, do I look like I'm staring at him with this big smile? And they were like, yeah, you're making it a little obvious. So I was like, oh my god. So I was just staring at him, and I would stare at him, and then when he would look back at me, I would just look away, and I'm like, like, what? Oh, I didn't even know that you were there. Whoops. So, yeah, I would be doing that. Like, I would be giving those eyes. So that's when he actually started to notice a little bit that I was actually staring. And I don't know, I think that maybe he thought it was like a little awkward. But he didn't actually talk to me until the very next day. That's when I noticed. It was after school. Like I said, I would ride the bus, and that's when I noticed that he was on the bus. And I would just look, and I would just stare, like, right there. Like, we were literally, like, across from each other, and I would just stare, and then I was just, oh my god, like, I was like, dude, like, did I just fall in love or something? And, like, he was basically, like, everything that I wanted, and everything that I just seen, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, he was just, like, you know. And, sorry guys, I was getting, like, you know, these hormones. I don't know, there was just, like, so much or whatever that I just fell in love with. And even, like, my friends seen it. Like, my friends seen, like, I was in love. And they were like, dude, like, you've never been like this about anybody. And I'm like, I don't even know him. So I was just like, you know, like, I want him, I'm gonna get him. And, like, I'm gonna make it more obvious and stuff. Because I'm just not that type to, like, go up. Because I didn't know what was going on in, like, his head or whatever. I had no idea. I didn't know if he actually noticed me, or if he didn't notice me, or if he had a girlfriend, or I had no idea. So I didn't want to, like, you know, just go right up to him and just be like, embarrass myself. So it was like the very next day, and we were back in that period. You know, I'd make it obvious on the bus, of course, like, blah blah blah, it takes time. And that's when he actually, like, I seen him get up, and he was walking over to our table, and I was like, oh shit. Like, in my head, I was like, dude, like, what do I do? Like, and I told my friends, I was like, dude, he's coming over here, like, what's gonna happen? They were just like, dude, just be cool, just don't shit yourself, don't throw up. And I was like, okay. So, he actually just put his hands on my desk, and I just kind of looked up at him, and I was like, hey. And he was just like, he did that head thing, and then he was like, what's up? to like our whole table after. They were like, they of course, like my friends were just like, what? But I was over here like shitting myself. And that's when I just started smiling, and I couldn't even look at him without smiling. I feel like he probably thought that I was like a little awkward, and he probably thought that I couldn't even say hi. So, because I just couldn't look at him and just smile. Like, I was just smiling so big that it was like kind of weird. So, that's when actually the teacher told him to go back, like, go sit down or whatever. And throughout the whole week, us smiling at each other, blah, 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 and I would smile and shit myself. So, you know, that happened for a while. And then finally, it was in the morning when I was on the bus, and he asked, like, I had my headphones in, and he asked my friend, the one that was behind me, he asked him, and he was like, what's her name? And then they were like, oh, it's Jasmine. And then they were like, oh, like, can you get her attention or whatever? Because he kept trying to call my name. And that's when my friend tapped me on the shoulder. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And he knew, like, my friend, he knew that, like, how I was about him. And then that's when he was like, and I was like, shit, oh my god. And I was like, you know, like, making it seem like, oh, like, I don't care. And he just told me to sit by him, and after I was like, why? And then he was just like, just come sit over here. So I got up, I moved my stuff or whatever, and I sat next to him, and oh my god, I was so scared. I was so nervous. I was so scared. I was like, wow, somebody finally made a move though. So, and then it was the weekend, and I remember I was out with one of my friends, and it was like 4 in the morning. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was just chilling. And then I got a notification that on Snapchat it says like blah 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 added you. So it said that he added me, and I was like, where did he get my snap? I was like, where did he get my Snapchat from? So I was scared. I was like, oh my god, he really added me on social media. Oh my god, he really, like, is he gonna text me now? Or is he one of those that just adds you and then plays you and then just takes you off after? So I was scared. But I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, like, he really is like trying, like, he really does want, like, does he really want to talk or something? So I waited a little bit. I waited like 15 minutes. Like, I didn't even want to wait. I really just wanted to add him like right away. But I waited a little bit. I waited like 15, 20 minutes, and then I finally added him back, and like, I believe like a half an hour later, I was just waiting and waiting, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything, so I was just waiting, and I was like, is he gonna text me or is he not? So I was just waiting, and then I was like, maybe I should just go to sleep, like, he's probably not gonna text me. And then I just got those notifications that says the blah blah blah's typing, and then you got a message or whatever, blah blah blah. So I was scared. You don't even know. I was really, really shitting myself. I was really shitting myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, should I wait? Should I wait to open it? I don't know when to open it. And you know how you could just slide it a little bit and just see what they say. And that's when it just said hey or whatever, and I was like, hey, blah blah blah. I just straight up asked, like, I just asked, like, are you loyal? Like, are you a loyal person, or you just drop people? Or, because I heard that you were a fuckboy. Like, I heard that around school, that he was a hoe. And I of course, like, just, you know, let that go in one ear and out the other, because I was like, you know what, like, I don't know him, and maybe other people, like, I know people say stuff about me and it's not true. So I was like, maybe it's like the same for him. He just said, like, I'm not loyal until I'm cuffed. And I was like, I don't know, it kind of sounded like he was kind of, I don't know, just gonna play me or something. But I was like, you know what, like, I don't really know him, so I'm not gonna judge him, I'm not gonna do anything, and I'm just gonna go, like, along with it. So the whole weekend, went past or whatever. And then that Monday came, and that whole week I was just sitting next to him on the bus and stuff, and we were talking more. We didn't really talk at school. Maybe he was embarrassed. Like I said, I'm so insecure about myself, and I don't really like myself. And so when, I wouldn't really, and he wouldn't, really talk to me at school, I kind of thought that it was me. But then I wasn't really thinking about it like that. I was kind of like, we're not together, we're not, doing anything, so it doesn't really matter. He doesn't have to spend 24/7 with me. In, September, that's when we actually started talking. And, we started talking. I was kind of confused, how he wasn't talking to me at school, and, I kind of confronted him about it, and I was like, is it me? Am I not, do you not want to be seen with me or whatever? And then he was just I believed him when he said that it was just, we weren't together. So I was like, okay, we're talking, but I mean, we're still, kind of, together. Obviously, you can't be going around messing with somebody else if we're talking. I see talking as you're almost together, but you're not, fully committed to each other. So I believed him, and I was just as long as you're not, messing around with somebody else, then I mean, whatever. We still talk and text and, whatever. So then, come to find out, he just stopped talking to me. And I was like, what? And he actually dropped me for somebody else. Kind of whatever, maybe it's just not meant to be at all. I was like, maybe he's just not who he seems, and maybe everybody else was right about him. And I was kind of just brushing it off. I was like, whatever. And then, a few weeks went by, and he started talking to me again. And after, I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
wait a minute. Who are you?
What do you think you're doing? So I was confused throughout this whole entire thing. My friends seen me going up and down in emotions, and I was just confused. I would be mad, and then I'd be like, dude, whatever, do you? I never told my parents that I actually started talking to somebody, because then, then I would have to tell them that, yeah, he dropped me for somebody else, and then they wouldn't like him, and blah, blah, blah. I had no idea what was going to happen. So a few weeks went by after that, and he dropped me again for somebody else, for the same person. He dropped me again, and after, I was like, dude, does this guy really think that he could just, make me the second choice, or she the second choice? I was like, you know what, this is really getting, in that time, I was really hurt, because I wanted to make plans with him and stuff, so I was actually really hurt at that time. And, just, a few weeks went by, and we were on the bus, and that's when he actually started talking to me again, and I was like, dude, I was getting mad, I was getting so frustrated, and that's why I always think that it's my fault, that I'm, just so insecure about myself, and and that's why I don't really get close with anybody like that. And then he started talking to me again, but this time it was on the bus, and he was actually grabbing my hand and, holding my hand and telling me that he was sorry, and I believed him, and so, he actually had somebody, one of his friends right there in front of him, and he was like, yeah, she's just weird, she's, that girl, she's crazy, he was saying all this other stuff about her, and he was like, yeah, I regret dropping you. After, I was like, yeah, you didn't drop me once, you dropped me, 3 times, and, I gave him another chance. God, I'm so fucking stupid. Oh my God. And, some of the stuff that he was saying, I was just like,
why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
He's probably lying. So, but you know what? For the most part, I believed him, and I gave him another chance. And
Stupid.
after that, that's when he actually made a big difference, and he actually talked to me at school, and he actually kissed me at school. And I remember everybody's faces at passing period, or whoever was around, they were like, what the fuck? They're talking? Are they dating now? Or something? And I guess that we were actually talking at that time. So that's when I actually started telling my parents about him and saying, yeah, I'm talking to somebody or whatever, it's his name or whatever. And they already knew, I was already I was good. I was having good grades. I had good grades, and I was always going to school. I had like perfect attendance, and so my parents were fine with me dating, and that's when he actually met my parents, and my parents actually they were a little iffy about him at first, but they were, for the most part, they actually liked him. Yeah, so that whole month goes by. He asked me to be his girlfriend or whatever. It was actually really funny. It was actually really funny, but this video seems like it's already going to be long, so I'm not going to say that. By whatever, we're in the new year, and February comes, and we had to break up for certain reasons, and I'm not going to say what happened, like that's just between us, and we just had to break up, and that's when my dad just didn't like him at all anymore. And my parents, both of my parents really just didn't like him at all, and they thought that he just didn't respect me and all this other stuff. So it's like we were still together after we broke up. Like, he said that he didn't want to break up with me, and obviously, like, when we broke up, I was so heartbroken. And here comes the waterworks. I felt like that was truly... Oh, I told myself I wouldn't cry, but that was one of... Oh my God. I felt like that was like one of the hardest things I ever went through in high school. Like, falling in love with somebody, and how I said, like, he was like my first real actual boyfriend. And that was just one of my like lowest points. I know, like, it's just high school, but that's why I try not to make a big deal. But it was just really a hard time for me. And after that, I just became so antisocial about everything. And I would actually still talk to him. And it was like we were still together, which kind of made me feel better, I guess. But I just wouldn't talk to anybody. And I didn't talk to anyone except for him. Like, when somebody would ask me, like, how I was, and, because it's like right away people knew, because we were always together, no matter what, like at lunch, passing period, we were always together. And just when we broke up, it was like, once I became so antisocial and I didn't talk to anybody, that's when the more people that asked me, like, are you okay, or how am I feeling and stuff, it would just make me break down. So that's why I was just, when somebody would ask me how I was feeling and stuff, I would get so mad. I would just want to push them away, and I knew, like, that wasn't the case. And, like, later on I would tell them, like, yeah, like, I just, I didn't want to push you away. I was just, like, there's so many people that were asking me, and I just felt overwhelmed. And, like, the fact that I felt like my parents kind of weren't there for me because they just didn't like him. So I kind of felt like I was going through all that alone. I felt like it was wrong for me to push people away when that wasn't really my intention. I really didn't want to push anybody away. I just wanted to get through this. And every day that went by, I was just thinking, like, what if I feel like this my whole life? I just thought I would never get over it. But once me and him actually started talking, and he would tell me that he still loved me, and he didn't want to break up with me, but, it was just something that we had to do. that kind of just made me feel better. One of the things that hurt too was like after the same day that we broke up, he actually texted me that night, and he was asking if I was okay. I didn't know how emotional I was going to be for this video, but I feel like me saying it out loud, it kind of helps me a little bit. But yeah, when he actually asked me if I was okay and stuff, that made me see like he really does still love me, and he really does have a good heart, and you know, that just made me, of course, love him even more. Like, he had a good heart. So, yeah, we would still sit next to each other in class and talk, and I would still sit next to him on the bus, like, after school, before school and stuff. So, that made me feel a little better. And months went by, and it was after prom where I started feeling like I could actually talk to somebody again, and like make more friends, and you know, like have my old life back and feel normal again, and yeah, just feel happy again, because I still remember how I felt, and I never want to feel like that again. It was like towards the end of the year, and it was, I think, a month before school actually ended, or maybe less than a month before school ended, and that's when I noticed that he was, like, ignoring me. He wasn't talking to me, and I was kind of confused, and once again, he dropped me, and he didn't tell me or whatever, but little did I know, he was actually talking shit behind my back. I actually didn't know until a few months ago. I was already pregnant. I didn't know that he was actually talking so much shit on me. He turned around and he changed into somebody completely different. It seemed like when he would talk to me, he would be that person that he was with the good heart. And then when he would, like, walk away, he would change into somebody completely different, and I had no idea who he was. So, that should have been a red flag for me. I still loved him. And, yeah, so the end of the year happened or whatever, and I was, like, really excited. I thought that was actually going to be our summer together, and we were actually going to spend a lot of time, but obviously we broke up. So, yeah, that summer or whatever, I kind of gave up on him just texting me and, you know, like, trying to hang out with me. I was like, you know what, he has his new friends, and he probably just doesn't even care about me anymore. So, that's when I actually gave up on him, and then I actually got a notification from him, and this was in, like, June, and, that's when he actually told me, or whatever, that he would actually come get me. So, you know, my vulnerable ass actually went out. Nothing happened, like that, but he told me that he loved me still, and, like, he didn't know what I was doing to him. Like, his heart was racing, and I don't know, maybe he was just lying, but I don't know. When he said that he still loved me, I fell for it. And, of course, me being vulnerable, I fell for it. I probably shouldn't have, but I did. It was almost like a month that went by, and I was just like, you know what, like, maybe that was only, like, a one-time thing. I was like, you know what, maybe he did lie to me, and he just, you know, tried to get something from me. And then he texted me again, and this time or whatever, that night it actually happened, and, yeah, so, I shouldn't have, but I did. I will never regret my son. Oh jeez, my face is gonna be like red for half this video and nasty, but sorry. Yeah, there were like so many red flags that I should have saw, and that was like warning me, but you know, like I was so vulnerable and I was so stupid, and like I said, I was still in love with him, so I did it, and I, you know, like there's obviously after that there's no going back. That was like the story of him and us. Okay, I'm back, and I just wanted to like clean myself up a little bit because, you know, that story was actually the first time I actually like talked about it like that, about, you know, like a timeline, and it feels good to talk about it, but it just hurts. So yeah. Now I'm actually going into how I found out I was pregnant, and it was the end of July, and I was with my cousin, and he's a dude, and he's actually really cool though. We were just, you know, chilling, and then I kind of thought to myself, and I was like my period is always on time, and I was just thinking to myself, and I was like, dude, like it was like the end, and it should have like started or whatever, and like I had an app, but I was like, you know what, like sometimes the apps, like they kind of don't work, but it's always on time. So I was like, I was kind of like, you know what, like this is kind of weird. I was like, you know what, like maybe in a few days, I'll give it a few days, but if it doesn't come, then I don't know what to do besides take a test and make myself, I guess, reassured. And so he went home or whatever, like that day after or whatever, he went home, and he was the only person I told. And so yeah, a few days go by, and I still didn't get it. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? I was like, you know what, maybe it's just like this birth control or something, but I'm still gonna take the test. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go buy one. So I went to the store, and I actually bought the pack that comes with two, and it was like a digital one and like a normal one. And I was like, I'm not gonna take this until the morning. And when I was in the middle of buying those tests, I was so scared, like I was like shaking, and I was like, oh, like I was just so scared. And she gave it back to me or whatever. Like I just threw it in my bag, and I just, you know, I just threw it in my bag, and I was so scared. So I was just walking, and I couldn't, like I was sweating, I was shaking. I had no idea what the fuck that test was gonna come back like. So I actually didn't take it that night though. I took it in the morning or the afternoon, and I couldn't really sleep because I actually knew, like I just had that gut feeling that I was pregnant, and you know, like your gut feeling never fails you. So I just had that gut feeling that I really was pregnant. And before that, like my boobs never, or what's there, because I don't have boobs, but whatever's there, that's how I just knew too, is like the smell of things too. When my dad would make food, and like it would go upstairs, he was actually making pork chops, and usually like my whole family, we love those, and that smell, it just made me feel so sick. And I was like, oh my god, like what is that smell? And I even asked him, I was like, what is that smell? He was like, I'm making pork chops. I was like, oh my god, that smells nasty. And it just made me so sick. And that's when I didn't really think of it like anything, but the next morning when I woke up, I usually sleep on my stomach, or before, like 9 months ago, I would sleep on my stomach, and when I woke up that morning, I was like, ow, I was like, dude, my chest, like, my boobs, like, it really hurts. Like, and I was like grabbing them, and I was like, ow, like, dude, like, my boobs really hurt really bad. And that's when I was like, oh shit. And I did not get like cramps or anything, like how some people get, like, what are those things called, like implantation cramps or something. Like, I did not get any cramps or anything. And that's just how I knew. Like, I knew right away. And I just had that gut feeling, and that's why I got the test that night. And like, even before my period starts or during my period, my boobs have never hurt ever. So I went to the bathroom, and the way my house is, it's like the bathroom, and then my parents' room is like over there, and they always have their door open. So they were sitting in bed or whatever, and they weren't really paying attention, because like I just went to the bathroom. And I got the first test, and it was just the normal one. And I just, dipped the stick, I waited, and it came back in the matter of seconds. Maybe it was a minute, but it felt like 10 seconds that it came back. And, sorry, me, like, getting emotional earlier, I have, like, everything stuck right here. But yeah, it came back so quick, and it, like, when people take the test, sometimes they have, like, really faint lines, and that still means that you're pregnant. That line came back so bold. It was blue. It was from the clear blue. And that second line came back so bold. And I was like, oh my God. I was scared. I started crying. I put my hand over my mouth because I wanted to scream so bad. In the digital one, it says pregnant or it says not pregnant. So it came back in like a few seconds. I mean, like, the timer at the bottom, it has like these little boxes. And so, like, it's like every single time, like, 30 seconds goes by, I'm pretty sure. It's like that box fills up, and then it goes to the next one, it blinks. And I mean, it came back so quick. Like, it already knew, like, yes, it was positive. So when that one came back, it said pregnant. And I was like, is the not gonna come up anytime soon? Like, not pregnant? And it didn't. And that's when I broke down. I was scared. I mean, I thought my life was over. I was like, the first people that came to my head was my parents. And I was like, I failed them. Like, I was like, everything that they said and everything that they've tried teaching me and having me grow up to be somebody successful, I was like, I failed them, and I had no idea what to do. There was absolutely no way I could tell them, and I was just so scared. And that's actually a different story about how my parents found out, because they found out on their own, which was even worse than me telling them on my own. I just felt like I failed them, and there was just no way I could tell them. I was so scared. And so I told my friends, I was like, dude, I have no idea what to do. But I was just scared and mind blown, and like, how can this happen? I was very hesitant to tell the dad, but because, like how I said, like, he just changed into somebody completely different. And I was very hesitant, so I didn't want to, and I didn't want to tell him, but I did. And at the time, I felt like that was a big mistake that I shouldn't have, but I just felt it in my heart that it was just not for me to keep a secret from him. Just, even though I knew that he used me, I truly, in my heart, I wanted to believe that he really did love me and he meant what he said from before. But I just knew that was just something I should not keep from him at all. Yeah. If you guys want to see that video or have a me do a video that's how he reacted, how the dad reacted, or how my parents reacted, then let me know. But I don't know if this is actually going to be my my last video, because I am going to do a labor and delivery video. So I'm going to try to do as much as I can, because I don't know how I'm going to be feeling. I recently, just a few days ago, had Braxton Hicks contractions, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically your body just getting ready to have the baby. So he'll be coming very soon, and yes, I am currently 36 weeks and 2 days. So yeah, if you guys want the other videos, I will try to do those before I actually have to do my labor and delivery video. But if not, then I will probably do those 2 videos after he's here. So yeah, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and hopefully my next video won't be in another month and a half. So yeah, I try to keep up with these videos as much as possible, but being pregnant and being exhausted all the time and looking fat in the face and, you know, not looking right all the time, it's kind of like pushed me back from YouTube. So I just want to be I want my face to be skinny again, because I'm so fat. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you for watching. I know that this video is kind of long, but I'm sorry. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye guys!